You're hearing it now. The hat's coming off. It's
what?
That hot outside.
Who is my co-host right now? I don't even recognize him.
Hi.
Who is this person?
I'm Kevin, and I'm very, very warm right now.
You liar. You are not Kevin. You are some sweaty imitation of him.
I do. I feel like the water illusion in Far From Home. Just like stomping around being like, James, do you have whiskey?
Oh, Spider-Man. What a troubled child it is now, isn't it? After all these,
is it an R.I.P. or is it a...
No, it's not dead. It's just Spider-Man is not with Disney anymore.
Yeah, but the last time they
because
weren't
they're
with...
both big corporations decided to throw hissy fits about how much money they get to have. So
that's fair.
So none of us get it.
Yeah.
Look, we've talked enough about Spider-Man. Let's focus on how hot it is. That's what people want to know, right?
Dude, it's so warm.
The weather.
Dude, it is so warm.
This is Trailer Hitch. It's a podcast. We talk about the weather here. That's it.
We have a few weather vanes on the top of our trailers.
Wait, that's not true.
It says it's warm.
Yeah, it's warm.
And here's the deal about that. You know what hot weather means?
What?
It means you need air conditioning. Just
yeah,
like a hard
usually helps.
But there are options when it comes to air conditioning. You can get air conditioning in a theater. I can get
a movie theater?
Of course, yes.
Absolutely.
I can get air conditioning in my apartment, or I can get air conditioning at James's apartment. What we have tonight in our main drag is 3 movie trailers. Now, one of these movies is going to be premiering in theaters. I don't think until January, and by that point I won't need AC, but it's fun to pretend, so we're going with it.
Of course, of course.
So we do have Bad Boys for Life, which is the 3rd movie of the Bad Boys franchise.
Bad Boys for Life. I know the words.
It'll come up at the end of the trailer, just you wait. The second trailer we have is Between Two Ferns with Zach Galifinakis, the movie, which is on Netflix, which I have at my
You
apartment.
have Netflix.
I do have Netflix.
There
yes.
in
I still have the
lies.
discs because I'm a fossil.
Okay.
Now, in addition to that, there's also Lady and The Tramp, which is a Disney movie. Wait a second, I thought they were pulling everything. Buckle up, folks. We are reviewing our first Disney Plus trailer on the podcast.
Absolutely.
And what do you have 3 years of, James?
I'm gonna have Disney Plus in my apartment, where there is also air conditioning. Also, those are the main drags.
Yes.
We're gonna do some trailer tune-ups as well.
There were a lot of tune-ups that came out.
But let's not forget what James is really excited about in this episode. Kevin, do you know what it is?
I do, because you're wearing a Star Wars shirt.
There's a Star Wars teaser, baby. Let's get into it.
You can't haul your stuff without a trailer hitch. Trailer hitch.
Movie might totally suck, but the whiskey sure is going down fine. Yeah, we're Trailer Hitch.
During the song, you were saying, oh, don't worry, we'll be breezier for the rest of us. And I automatically went, a breeze? I was so excited. You have to be careful about what cooling words
Do you want me
use.
to bring a fan in and
No,
just set
no,
it right next to you?
It's fine. Suffer for the art. Welcome to Trailer Hitch.
Welcome to Trailer Hitch,
Hi,
everyone.
I'm Kevin.
Hi, I'm James.
This is Trailer Hitch, a podcast where we rate and review movie trailers. We rate them on a scale of need to see more, or never need to see. We rate it one of those 3 things. If James and I both give a trailer a need to see rating, we celebrate, we go, we see the movie, report back to you guys in a segment called Trailer in the Rear View, where in which we review the trailer in retrospect along with the film.
Those are things that happens on this podcast.
Before we get into some of those trailers,
Yes.
we do have to talk about the namesake of your shirt, my man.
The name
Because we do have a teaser. This is the teaser trailer show, remember, in which we just take a look at a teaser. By nature, are always going to be need to see mores.
Yeah.
And therefore, we are in the showroom. We're not looking to buy a trailer today. We're just looking to see what the miles per gallon is in the sticker.
Absolutely.
Here we are. It's Star Wars.
It's Star Wars
I'm willing
time,
to bet
baby.
because it's sci-fi, it's all electric, so the miles per gallon are through the roof. But what's the inside of it look like?
Sure.
Let's find out.
Let's find out.
We've passed on all we know. 1,000 generations live in you now. Your journey, dear sin.
Thank God it has air conditioning. That's a huge selling point. So yes, this is the trailer for Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker.
And the first half, maybe first third of this is clips from every previous episode of Star Wars.
It definitely dives in first and foremost as a nostalgia trip down memory lane. Mm-hmm. And just a little background knowledge. This was part of D23, the big Disney convention that they do every other year. And they marketed this as a D23 special look. So not a trailer, not even a teaser, just this is a special look. And like you said, it dives right into starting with footage from Star Wars A New Hope, the very first Star Wars movie ever made, the characters and the memorable visuals from that movie, and then it goes right into Empire Strikes Back, and you go, oh shit, okay, they're gonna go with all of the original trilogy. And then surprise, surprise, right when we get Luke Skywalker in Return of the Jedi, but with a voiceover of old and grizzled Luke Skywalker from today, talking about we've passed on all we've known. It goes right into prequel stuff. We go right from Return of the Jedi to Episode 1. That surprised a lot of people. A lot of this sequel trilogy has been sweeping the prequels under the rug. Or just like hand-wavy type stuff. Of like, hey, don't look over here. It's canon, but don't look over here.
Midichlorians are... let's just move on. Let's drink from this monster's teat.
But they put it front and center.
Yeah.
And they made it very clear... And it's something that J.J. Abrams has been saying since Star Wars Celebration. This is a movie that is going to not only be the third movie of a trilogy, but this is the 9th movie of a saga. And there's a lot of responsibility that comes with that in making it make sense in that general saga and also have fun callbacks to the whole saga. And look, the prequels aren't great movies. They're not. But I love them. Mm-hmm. I love them. I grew up with them. I've watched them hundreds of times. And they're a part of me. And they're a part of Star Wars. So it's
they're a part of why I hate sand. So I feel you.
Don't we all?
I feel you.
Don't we all?
It's course, man.
It's course. It gets everywhere. But I've been ranting long enough about the not new stuff that we get in this.
And new stuff we surely get.
We did. You know, the stuff really builds really well. And after Revenge of the Sith, it dives into the sequel trilogy. We get some mixtures of stuff from The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. But that's because I think they knew what kind of shots they wanted to use to build to the moment where they finally start showing new footage. And I thought that was really effective. And then we start seeing new footage, and boy howdy, did I appreciate every single second of it.
It does appear as if our heroes are going to be all together in this. And if there was a criticism that I definitely heard for The Last Jedi, it was we split up all of our characters.
Yes.
They all kind of had... It was basically side quest hour. I did not dislike... Why am I using a double negative? I liked The Last Jedi.
I loved The Last Jedi.
That said, by the end of The Last Jedi, you really want to get all of those people back
craved
together.
This. And now here it is.
Now here it is. Now we're getting that. Now we're getting all of these characters together. It looks like we got Kylo Ren and Rey fighting with lightsabers. Bitchin'. And at the very end...
We're jumping right there,
Evil Rey!
We have... a shot of Rey, presumably, in a dark cloak, darkly lit, with dark backgrounds, and a illuminated double red lightsaber. But not double as you would normally think, as in Darth Maul's.
Sure.
But two lightsaber blades parallel with each other. But not for long, Kevin.
It does end up flipping.
Yeah, she ghost rides the whip, that lightsaber, and it just comes all the way around and clicks into place like Darth Maul's.
Definitely. Yeah, that was a moment where I knew I could not be a Jedi or Sith Lord. Because, I would accidentally cut so much shit in half if I had that thing. It would be so bad. But that's kind of what we have in terms of our new footage. I think those are the biggest takeaways. Now, what's something that'll make a nerd shrink? The phrase subvert expectations. Like, a nerd will just like it's a vampire to sunlight. They hate it. Well, good news, everyone. The dude who wanted to subvert your expectations is not making this movie. That said, that means that by seeing Evil Rey, I'm like, this is clearly just a cool image that they're pulling. Like, I do not buy for a goddamn second they're flipping her. Especially in the context of how much she has resonated with a younger audience.
That's that's the crux of it.
When we went to Star Warsville in Disney, what was it called?
Oh my god, Galaxy's Edge.
Thank you. So when we went...
Batu, Black Spire Outpost.
I'm gonna
Pick
go...
one. Star Wars Land. What did you just call it?
Star Warsville.
You trash human being.
I'll go with Batu. I feel like that's a deeper cut and it'll make you happier.
All right.
When we were at Batu, we saw so many young girls dressed as Rey.
Oh,
and
it was great to see that. It makes me so happy.
And it is genuinely really cool. And then when I see this for the 9th movie, I'm like, there's no way in fuck they're going to commit to a heel turn. There can't be.
No.
And so I'm just taking it as face value. I think they wanted to show off the cool lightsaber effect, which fair play. That's what they did at the end of the Force Awakens teaser.
Not only that, but at the end of the Last Jedi trailer, we have that moment where we all think Rey is going to consider turning to the dark side also. And she's saying, I need a teacher to show me my place in all this. And then we see Kylo Ren reach out his hand. And at that moment, we were all like, oh my god, like, really? It got me then, and it got me now, the first time I watched it. It really did. And I did record a reaction of me watching it. I haven't posted it anywhere. Maybe I'll post it in conjecture with this. Doesn't really add anything new to things, but it might be fun for our listeners to see me react to it. So we'll put it up once this episode airs, just for funsies. But anyway, no, I am very certain that Disney is very much aware, not just Disney, but like J.J. Abrams. He is aware of the impact that Rey has had on pop culture. Yeah. And he carries the weight of that responsibility. And people really look up to Rey. It can't happen. It won't happen. So what did we see? Force Vision. A lot of people think Force Vision. I have other theories. I don't really want to get into them.
That's fair, man. That's fair.
The more I talk about theories...
Although that said, can you imagine the 6-year-old girl who watched this special look and is now having a huge existential crisis right now?
I have watched other people's trailer reactions.
Sure.
And there were some that were just like, they're left speechless, but not like in a good, exciting way. Just in a... whoa, I don't know about this type of thing. Like with the Last Jedi one, you were ending it going, no, don't.
Right.
Don't reach out to him.
The choice hasn't actively been made.
Yeah, but with this one, it left a lot of people just like scratching their heads and then coming up with theories as to what is the reason of this. Yeah. And the reason I don't like theorizing with people is because we live in the age of the internet. The fact that everyone throws their theories on the internet means someone has guessed it already.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's out there.
Yeah.
100%. It happens with every franchise, with every TV show, every movie. When people start theorizing about where it's going to go, the answer gets out there somewhere. And I don't want to have that ruined for me. I have my own thoughts, my own ideas, and I'm going to go into the movie with just those. And hopefully really enjoy myself. Lastly, I wanted to talk about the format of this teaser in general. All said and done, this is only like 20 to 30 seconds of new footage. And I know a lot of people complained that, hey, this was just like a minute and a half of the other movies that I've seen 100 times, and then 30 seconds of new footage. What gives, man? You're just trying to tug on my heartstrings and make me...
Have you been paying attention to Disney for the past
things.
30 years?
That's an excellent point. But B, you know what they did recently that no one seems to complain a whole lot about? Was the Avengers Endgame trailer.
Yeah.
Which, for the most part, it spent most of it in black and white and red.
Yes.
Showing us
they gave us the Sin City filter. Yeah.
Sin City filter. Giving us a recap of the last 20 movies.
Granted, there are more movies by volume with Avengers.
Sure.
But at the same time, this has been going on since 1977.
77 is when the movie was released. Excellent.
Yes, okay.
Excellent.
Yeah, see, I'm learning stuff. Thankfully, it was because of our trip to Star Warsville. So, yeah, I mean, this is a franchise that's been going on since 1977. We're talking over 40 years at this point. I wasn't necessarily perturbed by it, one, by also how they packaged it. By calling it a first look, they're like, we know there's not a lot here, but we wanted to give you something to kind of get you hyped.
Yes.
And that in of itself kind of makes me back away from the criticism of, oh, but it's all footage.
Which is why it belongs in the teaser showroom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But also, the movies that we're pulling from aren't from less than 10 years ago. In the case of the Endgame trailer, with this, we're pulling from a movie that was 40 goddamn years ago, folks. Like, that's... I didn't mind it, and I think, especially when you have a series that's as long-running as this, it's to make you step back and remember, this all began with a farmer on a planet with 2 moons.
Oh, suns.
And, like,
2 suns.
2 suns. Shit. I needed to spend more time in Star Warsville, goddammit. God, and you seemed so, like, heartened by what I was saying.
I was so
Shit.
excited. You were getting into it. But
so,
the passion's there. That's all that matters,
yeah,
Kevin.
it all started with a farm boy on a planet with 2 suns. And now we're all the way through to now. And I thought that that was actually kind of effective. And again, if we were marketing this as a trailer, I might be a little bit more cross.
Totally, yeah.
But for a first look, no, I did not have any issue.
No, and with Avengers Endgame, I remember seeing this and just being like, this is all I want. Like, you can tell they're keeping a lot of this movie close to the vest. And I hope this is extensive as we get until I go in and go see that movie. Mm-hmm. And I think they are playing that card with the Rise of Skywalker, and that is what I want. And I know a lot of Star Wars fans disagree with me there. They just want, give me all the things. I want all the information as much as possible. Whatever you have to give me it. Put it in my ear holes and or my eye holes, whatever. I don't feel that way. This is a franchise that is very, very dear to me, and I get really emotional about it, and I want to experience it in the most pure way. And I think that gets ruined when you see too much. This is the way to go. I only want teasers like this all the way through December.
I think that's... Well, and again, yeah, we kind of talked about it with Endgame too, how it was like, when do you step back and say, let's try and give away as little as possible? I think Endgame was really the first time where that question really hit on force. And now we may be coming up with it again with the Rise of Skywalker. And I mean, like, given that we're in the teaser trailer showroom, you know, a good half of this trailer is footage from other movies, so we know that this trailer does have a rear backup cam when you go in reverse. Then again, this is directed by J.J. Abrams, who is not known to be a subtle director, so is the muffler going to be fucked on this? Only time will tell. We'll have to see more trailers.
Creative intent that the mufflers. So I really want that noise factor.
I feel like...
when Rey ignites that double lightsaber, it's just like... That's not a lightsaber sound.
Everyone on the street on a Saturday night is like, what are you doing? So, all right. Well, as of right now, that is the teaser trailer showroom.
If you do want to know my theories on the end of this teaser, write in.
Yeah.
Right into the show.
trailerhmailbox@gmail.com.
Absolutely. And I'll talk about it if you want me to. But otherwise, I'm going to keep it to myself.
I have seen James edit it. It is now down from 30 pages to 20. We're hoping to get it down to 15 by the time someone writes in.
Don't hold your breath.
All right. Well, I'm not going to hold my breath because I got to sprint. I have to run to the tune-up section because we got some trailers to tune up. So tune-up is where...
We got work to do, buddy.
We have already reviewed a trailer and then another trailer comes in. And we want to take a second look at it. And sometimes the trailers change substantially. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you will see trailers where it more or less gets across the same thing. But we still wanted to touch on them.
Yes.
And if it's substantial enough, like, we will bring it up. So we are going to begin our tune-ups with a laugh. I'm just kidding, it's Joker.
When I was a little boy and told people I was going to be a comedian, everyone laughed at me. Well, no one's laughing now.
You can say that again, pal.
You think this is funny? Is this a joke to you?
Murray.
Yeah.
When you bring me out, can you introduce me as Joker?
Send in the clouds.
Send in the terrorists. This is Joker. So, yes, we have already, I believe we both gave this need to see.
Yeah, we did. The first trailer was really good.
Really good, yeah.
So, how do we feel about this one, Kevin?
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely an example of a trailer, I think, kind of hitting on the same notes. Kind of a, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, because that first one definitely resonated so much. So, yeah, like, the first trailer really hit online, and so, yeah, of course, like, why would you bother to really change up the formula too much?
Sure.
So, I mean, like, the biggest thing with this one, I think it's interesting. We've gone a couple of trailers where we don't really get a concrete, and this is how the Joker gets his following or whatever. I think there's kind of an implication that the TV appearance he makes at the end is kind of what may spur what ends up happening, where we see like all these people in clown masks.
It's really hard to peg what happens when. I think that's a really good point. It's like, or is he only on this Murray show because he garnished this following and he like muscled his way onto this show?
Yeah.
Like, that's an option too. I don't know. Like, it's hard to tell.
It's interesting because we get in this trailer Arthur Fleck, I think is the character's name. Arthur's stand-up.
Yeah.
And we do get a bit of Arthur's out-of-context stand-up in this, where we cut into Robert De Niro kind of kicking the piss out of him.
Which, for the record, I don't know if this is what you were going to say.
Well, I was going to make a broader point about how...
Make the broad point.
Yeah.
Then I'll say the specific thing.
So it's
Kevin.
like that guy's kind of kicking the piss out of him there. So I felt like when he had him on... The last line is, by the way, when you bring me on, make sure to introduce me as the Joker, where it's clear that Robert De Niro's character is pretty trepidatious of that.
Sure, I'd agree with that.
And was the specific point you were going to make was that joke wasn't bad?
So my exact phrasing was going to be, yeah, Robert De Niro, that's the joke. So the Joker says, when I told people I wanted to be a comedian, they all used to laugh at me. Well, nobody's laughing now. That's a good joke. Robert De Niro's character seems to think it's not a joke. I'm so confused by that. It's such a good joke, and it's delivered pretty well. And then Robert De Niro's, you could say that again, comment makes it feel like, I don't think Robert De Niro got that that's the joke, that's the punchline there.
I think that it's kind of engineered in a way to get you on Arthur's side more, because I think anyone who understands comedy would look at that and be like, no, well, that was clearly the joke, though. And that was something, I don't know if this is like a specific criticism that I'd bring to it, but I am kind of concerned that this is going to play as Arthur or the Joker just getting the piss beat out of him for an hour and a half before he jokers
verbally
out.
And physically.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Those types of movies, I'm going to burn a lot of hipster and film bridges right now. Have you ever seen Bicycle Thieves? Like the really famous Italian movie?
I think it's going to be mostly hipster bridges you're burning.
Okay, so for those hipsters, let me turn in my Radiohead vinyl and beanie. I wasn't crazy about it, because it is just an Italian dude getting the piss beat out of him for 2 hours.
That's art, though, Kevin. How dare you?
Right in the beginning, where he is trying to cheer the child, like he's playing with like the kid on the bus, where he's like making those like faces or whatever, and the kid is clearly enjoying that. And the mom's like, "Hey, stop bothering my kid."
Yeah, instantly
But he did nothing wrong.
Yeah, he didn't do anything. He was just...
Yeah, that's something where I'm like, I'm now starting to kind of see this as like a common thread, and I think it comes through a bit more in the trailer, because in these two instances, it's like really clear he is doing everything right, or fine at least.
So,
like,
are you apprehensive then? Interesting.
I mean, not enough to make me drop it down to anything less than a need to see.
Sure.
But at this point, like, that's something I'm kind of clocking. Yeah, I know when we talked about this the last time, I was looking at that first trailer and going, I really wish I got an abhorrent act of violence out of the Joker out of this. We can empathize with him, but then having a moment where we recognize you have gone way too far. And we've not gotten that in this final trailer either.
Really, all this one goes for, in addition to that first one, he gets a following.
Yeah.
He was influential to people, but we don't know in what way or how or to what end.
Yeah.
You know? And so I think that's a really solid point. I liked the first trailer more than this.
I did too. Yeah.
But I'm not ready to drop it. But another thing I liked about that first trailer more is the consistency of the song choice. Yeah. The smile, though your heart is aching or breaking, whatever.
Achy breaky
heart. Achy breaky heart, yeah.
Billy Ray Cyrus, he was on Old Town Road, and now he's everywhere.
Let's get him in. He's laughing now. All the way to the bank, baby. I think that song was so perfect in that first trailer.
They're still going with the Joker VO throughout this. That's still kind of like the bridge. I don't mind that whatsoever. Yeah. I definitely agree that first trailer is better, but I think what both of these trailers exercise incredibly well is style. And god damn, that lighting as he's leaning back and swaying to a rhythm that's probably imaginary looks really fucking striking.
Yeah.
And that's what's pulling me in right now is... Even though, there are points where, from like a narrative standpoint, I might be like, hey, you don't have to get me 1,000% on the Joker's side in order for me to be interested in seeing what made him break.
Well, we got 2 full trailers now of me being on the Joker's side.
Because again, supervillain. We know where this is going.
Or maybe we don't. Maybe this movie ends and it's just like, you thought he was going to be a villain by the end, did you?
Surprise, he has a stand-up career.
He's just a very good citizen. Wow, subverting expectations.
So, this is still a need to see for me.
Absolutely for me as well.
You know, I mean, like, I'm clocking some things I'm a little bit hesitant
sure.
about. All right, well, let's stop looking at the past because Joker, I don't think we've mentioned on this, is a period piece. It's set in the 80s.
Yeah. Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. So let's stop looking at the past. Let's look into the way, way future with Terminator, The Dark Fate.
My name is Sarah Connor. August 29, 1997. It was supposed to be Judgment Day, but I changed the future. Enough of a resume for you.
No. Why do you care what happens to her?
Because I was her.
I'm going to help you protect the girl.
When this is all over, I am going to kill you.
I understand.
I'll be back.
I mean, I guess it's still technically future, but it's involves things from the way future.
That timeline is so twisted. I have no idea at this point.
But yeah, we are set in present. But anyway, this is Terminator: The Dark Fate. This is the second trailer. Now, the first one, I believe we just did for the teaser trailer show. Right?
Yeah, we do, and that's fine.
Yeah. Whatever. Now, that very first one, I remember being pretty hesitant on. The entire trailer kind of had a self-serious and epic vibe when really I'm looking at Linda Hamilton shooting a rocket at a guy that looks like a young John Cusack, and he's a Terminator.
Yeah.
I want this to be fun. The second trailer, I think, gets us closer into the right direction.
I think it is going for fun. I didn't have fun with it.
Oh, really? All right. Give it to us.
Sure. Look, from the opening shot, we have Sarah Connor standing over a presumably Terminator or maybe hybrid Terminator.
Human cyborg, yeah.
And she's pointing the gun at her. Terminator wakes up and she goes, "Start talking." No, really, start talking faster now. Verbatim. And then the Terminator leans forward and grabs the gun and grabs fucking Sarah Connor and just puts her in her place.
It's a flop.
And I'm just I stared at this and I'm like, Sarah Connor would not have been standing that close.
That's fair.
Because she knows the arm reach of that Terminator.
That's a good note.
And I was irritated from the get-go that Sarah Connor, the savior of humanity, She stopped Judgment Day, for God's sake. Is that enough of a resume for you? Apparently not, new Terminator.
Well,
ridiculous.
She did say in her interview, one of her weaknesses was underestimating the reach of a Terminator. So
she lost sight in one eye, so her depth perception is a little off.
It's a little off,
yeah.
And sometimes that little is enough, but especially for a Terminator.
So this was the opening moment. And you decided to take this opening moment and just shit on Sarah Connor, which is the thing that, like, got people back on board in the last trailer.
You're all really
you got Linda Hamilton, you got the Sarah Connor.
I was excited.
I was pumped. Like, that last trailer didn't do a whole lot for me, but that's what it did for me. It reminded me, we got Sarah Connor, and she's a fucking badass.
She is.
And then you take the opening moments of this trailer and tell us that she's not as good as this new thing that we just came up with, though. I'm like, fuck you. I'm so irritated with this. Was there even more of this trailer after that moment? I don't know.
There was a decent amount. Yeah.
Okay.
And there were moments that I was a bit conflicted on with this. This isn't going to be all sunshine.
No,
and
I will try and
grenades.
Okay, I will reel myself back now too and talk about the rest of the trailer, which I do remember for the record.
All right, that's fine. That's fine. It definitely focuses more on the bombastic action of everything. We do have another moment where Sarah gets undercut. It's when the door opens. We see Arnold Schwarzenegger in the cabin, and she goes to shoot, and immediately the Terminator flips the gun up and is like, "No, no, no." And evidently Sarah Connor's like, all right, cool. Now bear in mind, I still have the same note about this I had as last time. Terminator, living in a cabin. I want you to imagine the moment where the tax appraiser comes, and then the Terminator has to look at him and go, there's really a leak up there, so the basement isn't as nice as it looks. Like, oh, God, that was so stressful. Fuck me.
It's a good bit, though. I like that.
I really shouldn't have walked into this without a pre-planned Arnold impression.
But you know what? They keep doing
Why
this.
do I do things by the fly?
Because the trailer keeps doing these things to you. It keeps showing Arnold in front of a cabin. And it's like, how am I not supposed to theorize about this? But yeah, you're right.
That's fair. I mean, so like, that's pretty goofy. But yeah, no, Sarah totally gets undercut in that moment, too. The nice thing is, and this was the moment where my brittle heart grew 2 sizes today as I was watching it, where Sarah Connor throws the grenade over the ledge. She walks away, and then all of a sudden there's a huge explosion. And then as the explosion's coming in, Sarah Connor just brings up a shotgun, cocks the damn thing. And that's the moment where I went, she's back, baby.
Is that the same moment that she says, I'll be back?
And now there's another notch to your belt, my man. The catchphrase they give her is not her character's. It's a different characters in the franchise. Yeah. So you're making really good points.
Cool. Good. I'm glad I'm not an idiot.
No, you absolutely are not.
You know what Petter did like, though? Because I don't want to be shitting on this the whole time.
Sure.
I really liked the moment where Sarah Connor says to Arnold Schwarzenegger, by the end of this, I'm going to kill you. And I liked his response, which is, I understand. Yeah. It's very machine of him to say that. He
might be sick of raking at this point, too. There's a lot that could be going on with that character.
Okay. That was good, though. That was pretty good. We still don't know much about the other girl that they're trying to protect.
Really, no.
2 trailers in, and they're just like, she was me. I'm like, okay, is she also pregnant with the future savior of the world who's gonna be a man? Like, I hope not. That's pretty lame. Like,
if she has a daughter, prepare for her to be undercut in 50 years by other Terminators.
The world will end, but that glass ceiling will still be there.
A female Terminator tries to walk on it, nothing. It stays unsmashed.
I want to know what the deal is with this other woman. Like,
true, man.
Why is she like you? Why are you trying to protect her?
Yeah. I do think they tried to hide young John Cusack Terminator a bit more with this one. They definitely don't.
I like his stoicness. He's a good...
My whole body is a weapon. Wink. Now, that said, and this is kind of like a weird moment of confliction. So the place that this Terminator goes into and is wreaking havoc on, he had a Border Patrol vest on, and there were people running out of cages in that scene.
Didn't clock that, no.
If that's the case, if this new John Cusack Terminator is breaking up detainment camps, the movie has to know that I'm going to be on young John Cusack's side for that. I don't condone violence. I'm letting that out there, just so there's no Joker-esque moral quandaries here. But yo, I'm gonna be kind of rooting for that Terminator in that scene. Even if he just like stands outside that detainment camp and morphs a boombox and just like plays music outside to annoy the detainment guards, I'm gonna be on his side.
That's a good catch, though. I didn't even clock that. And now that you said that, I'm like, I can kind of picture it in my head. But I don't hate his whole look. I think he has a very unassuming look, very opposite of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
There is a benefit to him looking like young John Cusack.
Well, he looks like an average Joe.
Yeah, he looks like like your boy next door.
You would want a Terminator to blend in. You don't want them looking like this monstrosity of a bodybuilder or like a supermodel type of thing. They're going to stand out.
You want your Terminator to look like they put on the robot shoes 1 foot at a time, just like anybody else. And they like holding boomboxes. That's what you want in a Terminator. The design is good.
It's
good.
We can agree. Good. Yeah,
you keep making that face. Like what I'm saying ain't fact, but it just is.
You just keep coming back to that John Cusack moment.
It's uncanny,
perfect.
man.
You know the way to my heart, because I love John Cusack. That's all I got for this one, though.
Yeah.
I think, I don't remember what I gave this before, but...
right now. But we're focusing on the now,
but we're focusing on the present, which Terminator has never done, almost. This is a need to see more for me based off of this trailer.
This is a need to see more for me.
Okay.
I definitely think that this is a significant improvement in terms of tone. There are things about this where the lizard brain in me is like, oh, that looks neat. But I completely agree that this movie brought Linda Hamilton back more or less to pat her on the head and say, let these other characters do the work for you.
Yeah, we got this.
Which is irksome, I shall say.
Yeah.
Speaking of irksome, Nazis. Good news, the next trailer we have is Jojo Rabbit.
What a wonderful segue with Nazis.
Heil Hitler. Did you know Jews can read each other's minds?
But how would you know if you saw one? They could look just like us.
Hi. You know what I am? Say it. A Jew. Gesundheit.
Sheesh, that was intense.
What am I going to do? She doesn't seem like a bad person. You're not a Nazi, Jojo. You're a 10-year-old kid who likes dressing up in a funny uniform and wants to be part of a club.
Nothing makes sense anymore. Yeah, I know. It's definitely not a good time to be a Nazi.
So, confirmed, it is an imaginary Hitler. I know that was something we were speculating about.
The trailer went out of its way to say, hey, James of Trailer Hitch Podcast. It's an imaginary
Stop
friend.
watching your own reaction to the Star Wars video.
For 2 damn seconds. This is an imaginary friend, Adolf Hitler. Like, oh, okay. Well, I kind of thought that anyway.
Taika Waititi has like a giant horn in his ear listening out, and he's like, he said, oh! He knows!
I've been snorting a lot on this episode.
Good, I'm glad to make you laugh.
I can't help it, man.
Right, so this is Jojo Rabbit. This
Rabbit.
is our first full trailer. So the first one we looked at was a teaser.
I didn't realize how much more dense it could have got until I watched this.
Yeah.
I thought I got it from that first one. Turns out I didn't even know. Kevin.
For me, this definitely felt like it was fleshing things out, because we do get in that first teaser that this is a kid who desperately wants to fit in with his peers, and it's just really unfortunate that his peers are the Hitler Youth. And he has an imaginary friend named Adolf Hitler who tries to kind of talk him through his anxieties. And this trailer does throw a pretty big wrench into the system. There's a Jewish girl hiding in his closet.
I would have thought I would have heard something about that in terms of what this, the plot of the movie or the last trailer. Just nothing. Mm-hmm. Nothing about that. Which, that is what really had me hook, line, and sinker with this trailer. The whole, what do I do? I've been raised and taught to do one thing, but my gut is telling me not to. She looks like me. She acts like me. Nothing's lining up. I don't know what to do.
And I think it's also really important to note that his mom is really receptive and kind to the Jewish girl, too. So he's kind of seeing by example.
His number one role model.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And coming off of that first trailer, it very much felt like this was just going to be a straight satire comedy with crazy, zany Nazi stuff, you know?
Sure.
But the heart that was in this trailer really pulled the rug out from under me. I was unprepared for how sentimental and emotional this trailer was going to be. I thought it was excellent.
I loved this trailer.
Yeah.
I've been obnoxiously on record for kind of like my growing fatigue with the coming of age influx.
There is no pool scene it looks like,
There
Kevin.
was a pool scene in the teaser.
Oh, no!
I know. It broke my heart,
oh,
too.
That's okay. That's all right. Maybe they subvert your expectations with the pool scene.
I think it's just because it is such an extreme example, and I think ultimately a really humanistic take on this is to say, there was probably a little boy in the Hitler Youth that didn't want to do most of the shit that was asked of him, and he felt like he just had to go along with it.
It only makes sense, right?
Like, that arc sounds awesome and really interesting, and I think specifically when that Jewish girl calls out the boy for, this isn't really you're just playing dress up so that way you can fit in, I think really cuts to the core of a lot of why I think we're seeing a rise in a lot of really terrible ideologies right now. Is there's a bunch of people who feel quote-unquote ostracized from society, and so they feel more compelled, and they're angry too, so they're more compelled to these more vitriolic viewpoints.
It's so bizarre to me that in a time where we are all more connected than ever, that people feel more and more ostracized, or the wrong types of people feel more and more ostracized, I guess.
And I think for a movie to use this extreme of an example to make that point and saying, like, just because this is what other people are doing doesn't mean you have to too. And as long as you kind of listen to yourself and recognize that, hey, this person next to you, they're a person, and they deserve to be heard out just as much as anyone else, I think is really noble and commendable. Now, me being me, just because it's a coming-of-age film, there is going to be a coming-of-age quibble. Is the girl here, James, functioning to teach the boy how to be better? Or is there an arc? Because as of right now, I'm not seeing
what I will posit.
Okay.
Does she have to have an arc if this movie's not about her? And that's my biggest quabble with people who have quabbles with female characters who don't have arcs. Look, do more women need to have main character roles in movies? Yeah. Absolutely. But when a movie has already been made where they are not the main character and people quabble about the female characters that are in it, I go, look, every character can't have an arc. This can't be a 4-hour movie. It just can't be.
Sure.
Baby Driver is the one that comes to mind. Everyone was pretty up in arms about the waitress's lack of character or lack of arc.
I did like Baby Driver, but the waitress's lack of arc did kind of...
It's present. It's there. I'm not going to disagree with you. But the movie's not about her. It's about Baby. And it's about
driving.
His journey, you know? And she is a...
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Where, she kind of represents his mom to him in some ways.
Like every main character uses the side characters to get to where they're going. It happens in everything. And in this case, it's not about her. It's about Jojo Rabbit.
And bear in mind, like, I'm just one of, like, those dorks that I really like it when I feel like a movie hits arcs in a lot of different ways.
Look, and yes, that's the tippy top. That's what we want.
And bear in mind, I throw that lens to a lot of movies. So, like, I know a lot of people are really digging The Farewell, and it bugged the piss out of me that, like, the Japanese woman that the guy was marrying had no character at all. But that's just kind of who I am. I'm the kind of person that where I will notice Well, to be fair, I say this, but at the same time, I looked dead ass at the Terminator movie, and it didn't register that Sarah Connor kept getting undercut until you pointed it out, and now it's like, oh, fuck me, that's all I see now. So, I have my blind spots, but at the same time, I do hope, even if it's just the tiniest one, but at the same time, do I need that in a trailer? Do I need an arc for a side character? No. I also didn't need an arc for Stephen Merchant's character, the Nazi. I did not need an arc for him either. It's okay for a trailer.
Sure. Well, for me, to come to your side of it now, this is a movie that seems like it is mostly focusing on Jojo, his mother, his imaginary friend, and the Jewish girl living in his house.
I mean, he's also got his heavier set friend.
And his best friend. That's not that many people. So, coming on your side of the fence here, it would be a disservice if she didn't have an arc in this movie. But does it need to be present in this trailer?
Not really.
Not for me. And this trailer was aces. And even the button. One of the best buttons I've seen this year.
Yes,
just
the button is
so
amazing.
Good. Would you like to recreate it for us,
Okay,
Kevin?
so it's really like a two-peat. Because I love the rocket launcher bit,
The rocket launcher bit is so good.
As his best friend sees Jojo in the street, he's like, hey, man. And in that moment, he drops a rocket. It fires off and just blows up a nearby cafe. And Nazis go flying.
He's just like, ay, Dios mío. Oh, no.
But at a certain point, Jojo looks at his best friend and he's like, man, it feels like nothing is making sense right now. And his best friend says, yeah, it's a really bad time to be a Nazi right now.
End trailer.
It's amazing.
It's so good.
There's so many good jokes. And really, for me, it's rare to get a Goosebumps moment on a first watch. But when Jojo meets that Jewish girl and she confronts him, gets in his face and say what I am. And he says, a Jew? She says, Gesundheit. And then we pop into Heroes by David Bowie, and you can see right now, like, the hairs just kind of went whoop.
I loved that moment so much. It
good.
Was there was so much heart to it, but it was also so funny.
There's a lot of strength in that Jewish girl for saying that, and that was something that kind of alleviated some of my concerns about whether or not she has an arc.
Sure.
Well, fuck, at least she's funny. As long as we can make a character who I think is typically portrayed as constantly scared for their life, if we can let that character be funny too, that's at least a really good start.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. Schindler's Moonrise Kingdom. Who would have thought that would be amazing?
Moonrise Kingdom.
Who would have thought that would fucking
Look,
rule?
I clocked it a little bit with the first trailer too, that it felt very Wes Anderson. And that's not a knock on it.
Oh, it's not a pejorative.
I think
no.
I would be shocked to know if he'd never seen or was inspired by a Wes Anderson film before making this movie. And that's a good thing. You should be inspired by other filmmakers.
Clearly, Joker's very influenced by Scorsese.
Absolutely.
And like the King of Comedy and Taxi Driver. Oh, that's the inspiration you're taking?
Man.
Fuck yeah, let's do that.
Star Wars is inspired by a billion things. Like, it's all recycle and reuse, man.
Now let's going to do a 1940s movie about someone in the Hitler Youth. What's your main stylistic approach here? Wes Anderson. What? That sounds awesome.
Sold.
Yeah. So, huge need to see for me.
Yeah, absolutely a need to see for me. I don't think cheers, man.
Yeah,
Cheers.
absolutely.
I don't think this was a need to see it for me from the first trailer, just because, I don't know why, because I'm an idiot. Clearly. It's a need to see it for me now.
This is the second time you've brought up your intelligence. I'd just like to say, you're a smart guy, James.
Oh, thank you, Kevin.
I appreciate you.
Aww.
I see you. I love you.
It's because I'm drinking. Alcohol's a bitch.
Well, how about you get yourself some water while we get into this main drag, because to bring up a bit that we started like an hour ago, we have to figure out where we're going to be beating the heat at. Are we going to be beating the heat in a movie theater? Are we going to be beating it at my apartment with Netflix? Are we beating it at your apartment with Disney Plus? And just because we're so excited about Disney Plus, we're going to start with a trailer called Lady and the Tramp.
Let me guess.
You're like the center of your people's universe, right?
Indeed.
Well, I've got no leashes or fences. With me, every day could be an adventure.
Get the spaghetti ready, because this is Lady and the Tramp. This is directed by Charlie Bean, co-written by Andrew Bujalski and Cary Garland. This is starring Tessa Thompson, Justin Theroux, Sam Elliott, Kiersey Clemens, Thomas Mann, Ken Jeong, F. Murray Abraham, Janelle Monáe, Ashley Jensen, and Benedict Wong, and Yvette Nicole Brown.
Hell, probably more, too.
Our random shout-out, because we are at Trailer Hitch, we like to give random shout-outs to random cast and crew members, because it's top-billed people tend to hog all the credit, especially with as many people in the cast as this. So we are going to give our shout out to Michael Cowwood, who was the Postvis artist. Hey, Michael, I don't know what Postvis is, but I think you did a good job with it, buddy.
Can I see it?
I'd like to think that you just earned a paycheck off Disney's back and you just like hung out in your apartment, Michael. Good for you. All right, so this is Lady and the Tramp. So this begins with a couple getting a puppy.
A Cocker Spaniel, which I grew up with.
And that Cocker Spaniel, what's that name?
Lady.
You're right. So Lady is with this new family. Everything is nice. Everything is great. She gets the paper, so she's clearly earning her keep. And then suddenly, the family gets a newborn baby.
Yep.
And now all of a sudden, they're paying more attention to this baby and less to Lady. As we see these images, we get some VO from someone who's like, I can show you a good time, because those people are eventually not going to pay attention to you as much anymore. And she sees an older mutt by the name of Tramp who's like, but I can show you a good time.
Yeah.
And so then these two dogs go off and we see them travel. We see them, I was about to say canoodle, but that's too gross to think with dogs, eh?
Painting the town red.
These two dogs are painting the town red. We don't see the family after the point in which the lady leaves, but I have to assume the family is like, hey, we haven't gotten the paper in a while. And then, I don't know, the dad goes out and looks at the paper and sees the headline that's like 2 dogs commandeer boat. And he's like, holy shit, that's Lady.
Oh, shoot, we had a dog. That's right.
And this trailer ends with the iconic image of the 2 dogs getting ready to sit down for a nice Italian dinner.
Scarf down some spaghetti.
And we wanted to bring this up just because of the broader implications of this. Because yes, this is the 4th live-action Disney remake in 2019.
Is it really?
We have Dumbo, we have Aladdin, Lion King, and now we have Lady and the Tramp. So this is our 4th. It's interesting, and I know a lot of people who I see on various social medias are kind of upset with the deluge of remakes coming from Disney. What it reminded me of was when you and I were growing up, and in case we have any younger listeners, that was a while ago. It's a few presidents. Something to think about is 10, 15 years ago, the issue with Disney was they were putting out sequels to fucking everything, including The Lion King.
VHS, here you go, Lion King 1.5.
And so, by the 3rd live-action remake in a year, I go, hey, wait a damn minute. And by the 4th, I lose any amount of passion I could have on the subject and just say, this is what you guys are trying to do. And so at this point, all I can hope for is Disney Plus is like, surprise, motherfucker! And they're going to release like 5 more live-action remakes just all in December. Give me a Princess and the Frog live-action reboot.
That would be
I dare you!
I mean, they are making a Cruella film with Emma Stone.
So, okay, whatever. So, like, this is just what we have now. So it's one of those things where, I'm going to be completely honest, I don't know if I've seen Lady and the Tramp. If I did, it was when I was super young.
Sure.
And so I'm coming in with this as, I guess, fresh of eyes as someone our age can. And right now I'm like, well, it basically boils down to this dog gets adopted and then life comes up with this family. I'm feeling neglected. And then
the devil is basically like, come and have fun with me through the fence, through the cage.
More like, like this other.
Join me on the other side.
This other dog is more or less like, I can give you dope dog dick. And she's like, well, I mean, at this point, that sounds all right by me.
Lady and the Tramp really was just about the romance. And I loved Lady and the Tramp. I thought it was a really sweet movie. But seeing how they phrased and, like, formatted this trailer, it very much painted the Tramp in the light of just, like, Lucifer. Or, like,
kinda.
the devil on your shoulder of, like, I bet you're feeling neglected, huh? Ooh, come join
in.
me. Yeah,
of course.
Temptation. And he's like talking through a gated fence. It's just like the symbolism of it all was not lost on me. And I'm just like, why are you phrasing it this way? The tramp is not the villain in this movie, but this trailer almost feels that way until it gets to the end with the spaghetti, and then you go, oh no, they're in love. Okay.
I suppose so, yeah. It's one of those things where the phrasing of dope dog dick may have been a bit coarse for some people, but at the same time... Patent pending. It does feel a little bit predatory in that regard.
Right? Just the trailer. I'm sure the movie in context works perfectly, and it's a wonderful romance.
Sure.
This trailer,
we have the trailer to go
feels very predatory. I think that's an excellent term.
I saw there was a lot of fervor about The Lion King and how it looked too photorealistic, and the CGI was a bit too far in terms of bringing The Lion King to life. In this, I don't really feel that way. I think that the dogs look like real dogs. I think especially in the eyes, though, there is something a bit abnormal about it, but in a way
more expressive.
I think in a way that alleviates the concerns that a lot of people had about The Lion King, where and maybe it's because dogs are more expressive generally, but
I think they pretty much are. And a lot of people were kind of wondering, like, is this going to be a movie that was like Lion King, where the dogs are completely CGI? Or are they going to use actual dogs and then just manipulate the face when they need to talk? And it looks like a good mesh of the two. There were a lot of shots in this trailer where I went, that's a real dog. And then there were shots where I went, that's not a real dog right there.
I'll say though, man, in terms of the predatory aspect, Tramp looks so much bigger than Lady. I was like, this doesn't...
they're definitely different breeds. I think the way they got away with that in the cartoon is he was bigger than her because his breed is bigger than a Cocker Spaniel, but he was so scrawny in the cartoon, I think your eyes kind of like didn't register that as much.
Yeah. Fair.
And because they went with like real dogs, they couldn't have had like a super...
Let's have an emaciated dog. That's perfect.
A very malnutrition, homeless dog that is, you can see the rib cage. They didn't want to go with that aspect. So I don't know. I don't know what this movie is.
Because I feel like a lot of these Disney reboot trailers are very much going for nostalgia, right? They're kind of starting to hit the point as they're going down the barrel. Oh, we're going for nostalgia. And I'm like, outside of the spaghetti scene, I don't really remember anything about this movie.
Well, hell, even Dumbo.
I think that once Disney starts to get into these sort of lesser known movies, once you hit a point where it's like, this isn't a movie that everyone grew up with like The Lion King. And
maybe that's why they went the Disney Plus streaming route with this one. Having said that, would you pay to see this one? What is this?
Need to see more, but it's a need to see more on the basis of I have so little to go off of.
See, I have a lot to go off of, and this is still a very low need to see more for me.
Yeah.
And the only reason it's not a never need to see is because I do love the cartoon, so that's kind of a biased reason right there, but whatever. There you go.
No, that's fair.
I don't have to explain myself to you.
You do not. You absolutely do not. I mean, thank you for offering up your place, even though you absolutely did not do that, James, with your Disney Plus subscription. But now let's kind of shop the market a little bit, because we do also have Netflix in tow. And because of
Which is your apartment.
That is my apartment. As such, we're going to be taking a look Between Two Ferns.
Welcome to another edition of Between Two Ferns, and my guest today is Matthew McConaughey.
Good to be here, Zach.
Of all the things you can win an Oscar for, how surprised are you that you won one for acting?
And you have a major leak in here.
I'm so sorry. See what's going on with these pipes.
Dude, don't do that.
You killed Matthew McConaughey.
All right, this is going to be uncomfortable. Buckle up. This is Between Two Ferns, the movie. This is directed by Scott Aukerman, co-written by him and Zach Galifinakis, starring, of course, Zach Galifinakis, and everyone. Yeah. Our random shout-out is going to go to Hank Friedman, who was the editor. Good job, bud. You edited a movie.
Mad respect, Hank. I understand.
So, this is Between Two Ferns, the movie. So this begins with an interview between Zach Galifinakis and Matthew McConaughey. It is going exactly like every episode of Between Two Ferns goes, in which it is uncomfortable, it's hostile, and then all of a sudden, water sprays everywhere. We then cut to Will Ferrell speaking to Zach Galifinakis, in which he says, "You killed Matthew McConaughey." Well, I mean, they brought him back, but you still owe me.
Momentarily.
You have to give me 10 episodes of the show. So Zach Galifinakis hits the road with his crew to deliver 10 more episodes of Between Two Ferns in order to fulfill his contract that spurs from almost killing Matthew McConaughey. So my impression of this was, this is going to be a bunch of Between Two Ferns episodes with a central bridge to everything.
The bridge stuff is funny too.
Okay, so let's talk about the bridge stuff.
Wild. I have laughed so hard at this trailer. And a lot of it is the in-between stuff. And the one I keep coming back to is when him and his crew are just in a restaurant and they ask what the clam strips are. And the waiter is like, "Well, have you ever seen chicken strips?" And the woman goes, "I've never seen a chicken wear clothes." And I laughed so hard. And I kept laughing for 3 more shots into the trailer at that joke. Sure. It's such a funny joke. Mm-hmm. And I don't have much specific things to say about it other than the general, this made me laugh from beginning to end. I'm gonna be there.
I think the chicken strip joke is funny, but the first time I watched this trailer, I was like, yeah, but the lead-in into this bit is, fuck, we don't have any money. And the first time I watched it, I was like, that kind of feels like a missed opportunity. We should have been carrying on with this bit. But at the same time, the trailer does a huge point to kind of get at the root of Between Two Ferns, which is...
Root of ferns.
Yeah, you get me. This is a way in which the weird can feel less weird. Where, we are ourselves, and that in of itself is enough. Even when they're completely fucking broke and are about to order food. And, there's something that's really endearing about that.
Yeah.
Oh, all of the Between Two Ferns stuff, I was dying.
There is a good, 30 to 35 seconds of the trailer that there's just no laughs when they're just listing a whole bunch of people that's in it.
Yeah, well, and it's also, I really wish they had actually just committed to killing Matthew McConaughey. I think that'd be
that would have been really funny. And we all would have laughed way harder for it. Long story short, I laughed so hard at this trailer from beginning to end. This is a need to see it for me.
This is a high need to see more for me.
Okay, that's fine. Well, you don't have to be at your apartment for the
right.
air conditioner, but I'll be there, Kevin.
I'll keep the door unlocked.
Yeah, I have Netflix too, but that's not the bit we're doing. So I'll be at your place.
Maybe you'll be at my place, but to be fair, there's still one more place on the table, and that is the theater with Bad Boys for Life.
Let's get into it.
Hey, come on, man. You can get that buffed out. No, you can get that buffed out. I'm done, Mike. I'm retiring. Uh-oh, here we go again. You want your legacy to be muscle shirts and body count?
I never trusted anybody but you. I'm asking you, man.
One last time. One last time.
What are you going to do when they come for you? Well, you're going to read off all the stuff about it. This is Bad Boys for Life.
You're going to.
This is directed not by Michael Bay.
Absolutely not.
This is directed by Adil El Arbi and Bilal Fallah. Written by Chris Bremer, Joe Carnahan. Oh, Jesus, Joe Carnahan wrote this. And Anthony Tambakis. And this is starring, of course, Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. We also have Vanessa Hudgens, Joe Pantoliano. Oh, that's where he went. And our random shout out is going to go to Rose Bianco, who is Abuela 1. Hey, Rose, good job, bud. You acted in a movie. Bad Boys for Life opens up with a very nice sports car.
Absolutely.
They pull up Will Smith gets out of that.
This beautiful, like, swooping...
Looks like a fucking
camera shot of, like, the car.
I was legit surprised this wasn't directed by Michael Bay, because this looked like a car commercial.
It's a Michael Bay shot. Will Smith comes out, but then the camera keeps moving, and you're like, oh, shit, Martin Lawrence is about to come out of the car, too.
And then door opens, and he just fucking whiffs it on a fire hydrant.
Best bit of the whole trailer. I'm saying it right here.
And here's the timeout to that.
Give me the timeout.
Okay. I watched a lot of special features growing up. And yes, that includes the special features for Bad Boys 2. And in this featurette, there was a story about Michael Bay, and there was a particularly hard day of shooting. And it took like forever to get this one car stunt right, and it was very tense on set.
Makes
they were
sense.
running behind on time.
Yeah, makes sense.
And all they needed to do was, after that magnificent car stunt, they open the doors to their sports car, get out, and run off frame. That's it. That's all they got to do.
It's pretty easy.
Except. So they pull up. Will Smith gets out. No issues at all. Martin Lawrence throws his car door open, and it immediately hits a nearby wall because Will Smith parked too close to it. And you hear Michael Bay flip shit off, just scream like, "This has been a shit fucking day!" And the entire time, Martin Lawrence looks like he farted and it went south. He's so scared and standing stock still. It's fascinating. It is worth seeking out.
That's amazing.
And it just blew my mind the second I started watching the Bad Boys 3 trailer.
The opening of the trailer.
I was like, oh my God, they just did the thing that happened on set for Bad Boys 2.
Now, do you think the only reason they were able to pull this off is because Michael Bay is not directing this movie?
Probably, yeah.
Anyway, what else about this trailer? This is clearly the best part of the trailer,
yes,
in my opinion.
Because then they go
what else do you have to say?
They go to a warehouse, a bunch of people get shot, Joe Pantoliano gets mad at him for shooting a bunch of people in the warehouse.
Pepto-Bismol.
Will Smith is like, "Oh man, you know I shot some people."
Yep.
And
slow motion stuff.
A lot of slow motion stuff. Will Smith and Martin Lawrence are like, one last time. I don't really understand the stakes of this one last time. I don't know if Joe Pantoliano is like, I'm giving you one more shot at this.
We have no idea what this movie's about other than the fact that the boys are back together, but it looks like they were never really apart.
Not really, at least as far as the story is.
Why?
Yeah.
Why? And also,
why?
Why? Also, the song in the trailer was a very, like, broken remix, and I feel like it didn't flow. This was a big swing and a miss for me.
Yeah.
If someone who has seen both Bad Boys movies and likes both Bad Boys movies.
I was like, huh? And then you're like, and likes both of them. I went, oh. I remember seeing Bad Boys 1 and going, this is fun. And then seeing Bad Boys 2 and being like, why the fuck is this 2.5 hours long?
Oh, I don't remember that. I probably wouldn't sit through that again. But
yeah.
Having said that, this looks like it's not for me.
It's one of those things where I am more than happy to have the Bad Boys. But as of right now, I am given so little context for what is happening here. I really can't recommend this. I don't know, man. I feel like the bar has been raised so much within the past, 5 to 10. Not even just Mad Max Fury Road, but the fucking Raid movies, dude.
Oh, the Raid movies,
those have come and gone since.
Yeah.
And if you're like, yeah, and we're going to have Will Smith rolling slowly on a skateboard as he shoots dudes, dude, we're beyond that. I've seen a dude get impaled after getting beaten through a door frame.
You're totally right. And I think what the beginning of this trailer nailed, and they should have held on to your point, is this is just about the charisma of Will Smith and Martin Lawrence.
Definitely.
That's why people want to see this movie, not because of literally anything else you think you have to offer. Sure. It's about the charisma of those two characters and their chemistry together. I just want to see more Will Smith and Martin Lawrence shenanigans.
Now, bear in mind, I think when those two things meld together, them driving through the mall and Martin Lawrence telling people like, oh, don't worry, we're black, but we're also police officers. We'll pull ourselves over later. I think that works.
Yeah, it worked. What didn't work was him just like, we're driving through a mall. And I'm like, yeah, Blues Brothers did it already. Pier 1 imports. A lot of space in this mall. But yeah, they did it like almost 40 years ago. Anyway, this is a never need to see it for me. And it pains me to say it because I really, like I said, I like the charisma and I like the chemistry between these two. And I like seeing them together again.
Yeah, it's a high never need to see for me.
Oh, that's generous of you.
It's generous. It's very generous. I mean, like, there are certain things that kind of make me perk up and go, oh, but I'm not really feeling it here. So, okay, so what this means is for me, and again, it pains me to say because I love going to the theater. It's a very special thing for me.
And you love coming here.
I love coming here to this place. You have very good whiskey.
Oh, thank you.
You are not only a great host, but a great friend. I love being here. But that said, I'm not really feeling Lady and the Tramp either, so I guess I'm just staying home and watching Netflix.
You're staying home, and I'm coming with you, buddy.
Okay, cool. We're
going to Netflix to enjoy the air conditioning at your place for Between Two Ferns, the movie.
Well, fucking September 20th is when it comes out,
That's
so
right.
we don't have to wait too long. I feel really bad saying this because I feel like with Curb Your Enthusiasm luck, I'll say, yeah, I'm going to stick with my place because it has air conditioning, and then my air conditioning's going to go out. But it's but it's fine. I'm in an apartment. A landlord can fix it. And while my landlord is fixing it, this is the end of the episode. So you can hit us up on Facebook. If you just search Trailer Hitch Podcast on Facebook, if you want to keep those comments to, say, 280 characters, you can do that on our Twitter at Trailer Hitch Pod. Or you can email us at trailerhitchmailbox@gmail.com.
Especially if you want to ask me what my theory for Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is.
Hit him up.
I am willing.
Or you can also comment on YouTube, which, by the way, did you know we're on YouTube? If you just search Trailer Hitch Podcast, give us a like, give us a subscribe, follow us, do whatever you want. If you want to write and give a comment on that, we'll probably read it on the episode. We have read YouTube comments before, and damn it, I'm more than willing to do it again.
We have fun with them.
But let's not forget, also, Instagram. You can hit us up if you want to take a picture of what you want to say and send it to us. You can do that at Trailer Hitch Podcast.
Absolutely.
If you want to listen to this episode, you can find us at Trailer Hitch Podcast on Stitcher. You can find our entire back catalog there, as you can with YouTube. But our main bay, as of right now, iTunes. Subscribe to us, give us a like, give us a comment, rate us, review us, do whatever you want. We sincerely appreciate it. Now, before we go, we would like to thank Danny Schmitz from Lost in a Name for the amazing intro song that you hear at the top of the show.
Endless thank you, sir.
We would like to thank Rachel Ashley for the beautiful cover art that you see on our iTunes and our various social medias. You can find her at Mighty Creations on Instagram.
Go check it out.
We would like to also thank Jenny Hawks, our social media and bad movie correspondent, for her sterling work as always.
Tip of the hat to ya.
And we would like to thank Casey Clowers for the amazing outro, which you will hear momentarily, before we thank you, the listener. Thanks for listening, guys.
Huzzah!
You can't mount holy sails without a sailor stitch, and you can't haul your stuff without a trailer hitch. Trailer hitch.
And then the Terminator has to look at him and go, you know, there's actually a leak. Or, I should do a better Arnold. Hold on.
You can do it.
Give me a second. Let me find my space.
I'll give you 1,000 seconds. I want you to nail this, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
T-1000 seconds?
Damn it. No, you know what? I take it back. I give you T-800 seconds. That sucked. No, that's nothing. Come on, please. Do an Arnold Schwarzenegger impression.
There's really a leak up there, so the basement isn't as nice as it looks. Like...
Yay! Yay! You did the good impression. It took so long.
It was T-1000 seconds, man.